Hi everyone, I'm Miu from Susan's family. Today I'll teach you how to make the Jade motif cardigan from Chinese Aesthetics series. This sweater comes in multiple sizes, with similar crocheting methods. All are divided into the back body, right and left front bodies, sleeves, and joining together. The edging and buttons. Let's start with the back body. It's divided into motifs, right and left side pieces, and shoulder parts. Here the motifs are divided into motif 1 and motif 2. First work motif 1. Then work motif 2. And join with motif 1 in the last round. Let's learn motif 1 first. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Several crochet stitches will be applicated, all marked on the chart. We won't list them all here. Watch my demonstration for the specific crocheting method. Take the corresponding yarn. The sample is demonstrated with cotton yarn. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size. Please refer to the detail page of our product and paper instructions. Start with a magic ring by wrapping yarn around your finger. After completing, crochet the first round. Chain 3 as the beginning chain for double crochet. Counts as 1 double crochet. Then work 15 double crochets into the chain space. After completing, tighten the loops. Then on the turning chain, pick up the top 2 strands of the chain stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. The joining slip stitch at the end doesn't count as 1 stitch. Tighten it to avoid extra stitches later. The first round is complete. We'll consider the side with clearer texture as the right side of the piece. Move on to round 2. Chain 3 as beginning chains, corresponding to the previous round's beginning chain. Then chain 1 as transition. On the left side double crochet, make 1 double crochet. Note that the stitches are a bit puckered here. Don't insert into the wrong position. Weave in the yarn tail behind together. Continue with 1 chain stitch. Work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. From this round down, pick up stitches correspondingly to work double crochets. Between double crochets are all chain 1 as transition. Complete this round. After the last double crochet is done, work 1 single crochet into the beginning chain to connect. Pay attention to find the third chain stitch from bottom up here. Pick up these 2 strands to insert the hook and crochet. The second round is complete. Cut off any yarn tails that haven't been finished. Now work the third round. Make 3 beginning chains. Below, into the chain spaces of the previous round, work 3 double crochets respectively. Complete this round. After completing the last chain space, work 2 double crochets into the starting chain space. Finish with a slip stitch into the beginning chain. The third round is complete. Move on to the fourth round. First, into the gap on the left side of the beginning chain from the previous round, work 1 slip stitch. Gently tighten slightly. Make 1 chain stitch. As the beginning chain for the single crochet doesn't count as 1 stitch, work 1 single crochet into the same stitch. Chain 3. 3 double crochets on the left side. Work 1 single crochet into the stitch gap. Chain 3. Pick up the gaps with 3 stitches apart downward. Corresponding single crochets, 3 chains as a bridge between them. Work a total of 3 single crochets. After completing, chain 9. We consider the stitches after the beginning chain as a group. Repeat this group's crochet method below. Complete this round. Pay attention to adjacent groups first and last single crochets. Work them into the same gap. The last single crochet of the final group, work it into the starting gap. Chain 4 more. On the starting single crochet stitch, work 1 treble crochet. Yarn over 3 times. Insert the hook into the stitch. Pull the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat 4 times. The treble crochet is completed. The fourth round is done. Move on to the fifth round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Pick up the treble crochet underneath. Work 5 double crochets. Skip the chain space on the left side. Make 1 single crochet in the single crochet stitch. Work 4 double crochets in the next hole. One chain stitch. Work 4 double crochets in the adjacent hole. Make 1 single crochet in the left single crochet stitch. We will take these 2 single crochets, and the stitch patterns between them. Consider this as one side of the round. Next, work 6 double crochets in the 9 chain spaces on the left side. Work 6 double crochets. Three chain stitches and 6 double crochets. We will consider the crocheted stitches in this hole as one corner of the round, following this method for sides and corners. Complete this round. After finishing the last side, work 6 double crochets in the starting hole. One chain stitch. Finally, make a half double crochet to join in the beginning chain. Complete this corner. The 5th round is completed. Next, work the 6th round. Make one beginning chain to start. Work one single crochet in the hole below. 5 chain stitches. Starting with single crochets on the left side edge, work 1 double crochet, 3 chain stitches. Work 1 single crochet in the left chain space, 3 chain stitches. Work 1 double crochet in the left single crochet stitch, 5 chain stitches. Work 1 single crochet in the corner hole of the previous round. We consider the crocheted stitches after the beginning chain as the edge of this round. Continue with 3 chain stitches for the corner. Repeat the edge and corner technique. Complete this round. Pay attention, the first and last single crochets of adjacent sides are worked in the same hole. After completing the last side, 1 chain stitch, make a half double crochet to join in the starting single crochet. Round 6 is completed. Finally crochet the 7th round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Work 1 double crochet in the bottom hole. Work 5 double crochets in the left chain space. Work 1 double crochet in the stitch. Work 3 double crochets in the 3 chain space. Work 1 double crochet in the stitch. On the other side chain space and double crochet. Work stitches symmetrical to the right side. Finally work 2 double crochets in the corner hole of the previous round. We consider the crocheted stitches as the edge. You can check the number of double crochets. Count the beginning chain as 1 stitch. Chain 3 next, which counts as the corner. Continue alternating crocheting edges and corners. Complete this round. Pay attention to the placement of the first and last stitches. After completing the last corner, join with a slip stitch in the beginning chain. The 7th round is complete. Now you can measure the motif's dimensions. Compare with the dimensions given in the chart. If there's a significant difference, adjust your tension and recrochet. To avoid affecting the finished product's size, once the dimensions fit properly, cut the yarn. Chain 1 to secure. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut off. Pull tight. On the wrong side, weave in the ends following the texture. You can weave in a few extra stitches. Motif 1 is now completed. Crochet other motif 1s using the same method. Pay attention to keeping the size consistent. Complete them all. That concludes the crochet instructions for motif 1. Next, let's learn motif 2. Start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. When crocheting the last round, connect it to motif 1. You can connect them from left to right, bottom to top. You can also refer to the pattern. Based on the staggered arrangement of the two motifs, connect them in your preferred order. As long as the final motif layout matches the chart, the new stitch technique used is a 4 double crochet bobble stitch. Watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. First, follow the sequence. Crochet the first motif 2 on the left side of row 1. Start with an adjustable magic ring. After completing it, begin round 1. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work 8 single crochets into the yarn loop. After completing, tighten the yarn loop. Join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. If you do not know where the very first stitch is, you can also count the stitches backward. The first round is complete. Continue with the side with clearer texture as the right side. Move on to round 2. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. In the first stitch of the previous round, which is the slip stitch position, work a single crochet. Chain 1. Pick up stitches correspondingly to work single crochets. Chain 1 as a bridge between single crochets. Complete this round. After completing the last chain stitch, join with a slip stitch at the starting stitch. The second round is complete. Next is the third round. The crochet technique is similar to round 2. However, the chain spaces are 2 chains apart. Complete this round. Now work on the fourth round. First, work a slip stitch in the left chain space. The oval-shaped slip stitch does not need to be pulled tight. Move the yarn to the chain space position. First, crochet a special 4-stitch bobble stitch. Crochet 2 chain stitches first. Then work 3 incomplete double crochets in the same space. Yarn over. Insert. Pull the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. First stitch completed. Continue to the second stitch. Yarn over. Insert. Pull the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Second stitch completed. Crochet 1 more stitch. Yarn over and draw through the remaining loops in once. 1 special 4-stitch bobble stitch is completed. Then crochet 9 chain stitches. Crochet 1 4-stitch bobble stitch in the left chain space. Crochet 4 incomplete double crochets. Yarn over and draw through in once. The 4-stitch bobble stitch is completed, hereafter referred to as bobble stitch. Continue with 9 chain stitches. Correspondingly make bobble stitch in the chain space below. 9 chain stitches as transition between them. Finish this round. After completing the last bobble stitch, crochet 4 chain stitches. On the stitch where the special bobble stitch begins, work 1 triple crochet. The 4th round is completed. For rounds 5 to 6 afterward, refer to the chart and crochet in rounds the corresponding stitch patterns. Pay attention to finish with a half double crochet to join. Complete it accordingly. Note that after completing the 6th round, you can put together with motif 1's 6th round. Dimensions should correspond roughly. If there's a significant difference, adjust your tension and recrochet to avoid affecting the joining appearance. Finally, work the 7th round. This round needs to connect with motif 1 above and on both sides. Take 3 motif 1s as backup first. The swatch here only demonstrates the method. Color scheme and yarn are not for reference. The motif connection position here can refer to the chart. You can also adjust it yourself. The swatch here follows the chart. Make 3 beginning chains. Work 3 double crochets into the space below. Two chains. Skip the beginning chain and 2 double crochets on the left side. Insert the hook into this stitch and make 1 double crochet. Below, pick the single double crochet underneath and make a double crochet correspondingly. Both sides use 2 chains as transition. After completion, on the left side double crochet, work 1 double crochet, 2 chains. Work 4 double crochets into the corner chain space. Consider the crocheted stitches as one side of this round. Move on to make 3 chains as the corner. Pay attention, here we need to join motif 1. First make 1 chain. Stretch the loop. Take out 1 motif 1. Right side facing up. Insert into any corner space. Pull through a loop. Adjust it. Then work 2 chains. Now 2 corner positions are connected. For the next 2 motif corners connection, follow this method. Before working the middle chain stitch, draw the loop through the corresponding corner space. Complete the remaining chains. Now for the edging position below, and connect this side corresponding to motif 1. First work 4 double crochets into the same space below. According to the chart, next are 2 chains. Connect at the second chain position here. First work 1 chain. Remove the hook. Insert into motif 1. The 5th double crochet stitch from the right edge. Pull through a loop. Then complete the second chain. This completes 1 connection. Continue with 1 double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet. Make sure not to miss the insertion point here. The second position of the 2 chains below. Connect again. First make 1 chain. Take out the crochet hook. Skip 4 stitches on motif 1. Pull through a loop. Then complete the chain. Repeat this process afterward. At the corresponding chain space and motif 1. Skip 4 stitches to connect. After the last connection is completed, make 4 double crochets in the corner hole. The second side is completed and connected 4 times. Connections are made on both sides of the edge chains, and 2 chain spaces separated by 1 chain space in the middle. On the second stitch of each chain section, on motif 1's edge, skip 4 stitches to connect each time. After the last connection is completed, 3 double crochets remain. The positions on the following edges are all connected using this method. Now connect the corner. Here, note that above motif 2, One more motif 1 needs to be connected. Here, 2 corners need to be joined simultaneously. Chain 1 first. Remove the crochet hook. Insert the hook into the middle chain stitch of the right side motif 1 corner. Pick up these 2 strands. Continue to insert into the corresponding middle chain stitch of the top corner. Similarly, pick up 2 strands. Draw through the loop. The loop can be a bit loose here. Chain 2 more. Now the 3 corner positions are connected. For the remaining 3 corners, you can follow this method. Join the corresponding middle chain stitch of motif 1 corners simultaneously. Pay attention to keep it loose when connecting. Ensure the connection is flat and neat. You can also connect according to your own habit, as long as it looks neat. Now connect this side. The method is the same as before. Pay attention not to twist this piece. Don't miscount the connection position. After completing, you can check it. Continue connecting corners. Here 3 corners are connected together. After the first chain stitch is done, insert into the corresponding middle chain stitch of motif 1 corners in sequence. Pull through the loop. Mindful to keep it loose. Chain 2. Complete corner connection. Continue connecting this side. After completing, connect the corresponding corner. Here 2 corners are connected. Simply insert into the corner space. This connects with 3 motifs 1. Join with a slip stitch on the beginning chain, and cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tails. The first motif 2 of row 1 is now crocheted and connected. The second motif 2 of row 1. Crochet the first 6 rounds the same way as before. When crocheting the 7th round, connect to the motif 1 above and on the left that's already connected. Use the same joining method as before. Just complete it as shown. Next, the first motif 2 of row 2. This position needs to connect 3 motifs, one except the one on the left. Watch me demonstrate the specific joining method. Complete the first 6 rounds first. Now crochet the 7th round. Here, the sample first connects to the edge position of the motif 1 below. After completing, we now reach the corner position below. Here, 3 corners have already been connected. First, chain 1. From the previous insertion point where you connected. Pull the yarn through to form a loop. Similarly, keep it slightly loose. Chain 2. This is the method for connecting 4 corners. You can also follow your own habit. Pick the appropriate position to connect, as long as the final connection looks neat. Continue connecting the edges. After completing, we reach the corner position. Connect these 2 corners. Continue connecting the corresponding edge of motif 1 above. After completing, connect the corner. Do not connect the next edge. Just crochet normally. When reaching the final corner position, don't forget to connect the corresponding corner below. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tails. The first motif 2 of row 2 has been crocheted and connected. The second motif 2 of row 2. Connect motif 1 around all 4 sides. Connect every edge and corner. Use the same method as before. Refer to the previous demonstration. Complete it accordingly. Row 2 motif 2 has been explained. For the remaining rows of motif 2, continue connecting in a staggered way. Pay attention not to miss any motif 1 when connecting. Also avoid connecting extra motifs on both sides. The top of the last row doesn't need further connection. Refer to the chart to crochet and connect all motif 2. That concludes the explanation of motifs. Next, learn the side panels. Divide it into left and right 2 panels. Here, left and right refer to when wearing the garment. First, learn the right panel. Work back and forth on the motifs. The new stitch technique used is double crochet decrease. Watch my demonstration of the specific crocheting method. Here I use a swatch, demonstrating with the smallest size as an example. Fewer motifs are used, mainly demonstrating the method. Once you learn the method for other sizes, simply follow the chart to crochet. On the rightmost motif 2 of the first row of motifs, right side. Join yarn in the bottom right corner space. You can make a slip knot here. Draw the loop through. Adjust slightly. Joining the yarn is complete. Chain 3 as beginning chains. Work 1 double crochet in the same space. Then refer to the chart. Pick up stitches or chain spaces to work double crochets. If you encounter a beginning chain, pick up the slip stitch position to work double crochets accordingly. The specific insertion point for double crochets can also be adjusted according to the actual situation. Finally, work the corresponding number of stitches on the motif. Work 2 double crochets in the corner space. After completing, check the stitch count against the chart. Next, work 2 double crochets in the corner space of motif 1. Then pick up stitches to work double crochets correspondingly. After completing, work 2 double crochets in the corner space. Similarly, check the double crochet count on motif 1. Next, refer to the chart to work double crochets on the motif accordingly. After everything is done, check the total stitch count for this row. Complete it as instructed. That completes the explanation for row 1. Continue crocheting row 2. Chain 3 as beginning chains. Correspond to the edge double crochets. Turn the work. Work 1 double crochet on the left stitch. Note that on the wrong side, the stitches are on the upper left. Do not work into the stitch under the turning chain itself. Chain 1. Skip 1 stitch and work double crochets correspondingly. Chain 1 as transition. Complete this row. After completing the last chain stitch, skip 1 stitch. Pick up the top 2 strands of the chain stitch on the beginning chain. Work 1 double crochet. Row 2 is complete. Move on to row 3. Chain 3 as beginning chains. Turn the work. Start from the left chain space. Pick up the chain space and stitch. Work 1 double crochet in each. Complete this row. After completing the last stitch position, work 1 double crochet in the turning chain. Pick up the top 2 strands of the chain stitch and work. Row 3 is complete. Measure the height of these 3 rows now. Put together with the chart data. If there's a significant difference, adjust according to the actual situation, to avoid affecting the finished product dimensions. For smaller sizes, row 4, work back and forth following the pattern chart. Now I'll demonstrate row 5. Start working normally following the pattern chart. Ending following the pattern chart. After reaching the corresponding number of stitches remaining, work all corresponding half double crochets. When checking, remember that the double crochet beginning chain counts as 1 stitch. After completing, since the next row starts far away, cut the yarn. Right side piece, small size row 5 completed. Continue crocheting row 6 for small size. First turn the work, refer to the chart, find the starting position for this row and join yarn. Right side piece. Chain 2 to begin. Make 1 double crochet decrease on the left 2 stitches. First make 2 incomplete double crochets corresponding. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. First stitch completed. Continue to crochet the second stitch. Yarn over. Insert into the adjacent stitch. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Second stitch completed. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. That completes the double crochet decrease. Continue to follow the pattern to finish this row. Once completed, row 6 is done. For small size, the last row directly return to make double crochets corresponding. Pay attention that the ending double crochet should be made on the edge stitch. Leave the beginning chain unworked. Pay attention not to make mistakes. Just cut the yarn at the end. That completes the explanation for the right side piece in small size. The crochet method for the right side piece in large size is similar. The number of rows will increase. The position of skipped stitches for the armhole. Skip the corresponding number of stitches according to the chart. Join the yarn on the corresponding double crochet stitch. Continue working back and forth. Pay attention that the last row is crocheted on the wrong side. Start by making one chain as the beginning chain. Turn the work and begin from the edge stitch. Work the corresponding stitch pattern. Cut the yarn at the end as well. Complete it by referring to the chart. That completes the explanation for the right side piece. Next, learn the left side piece. Work back and forth on the left side of the motif. The shape is symmetrical to the right side piece. The new stitch technique used is double crochet, 3 stitches together. Watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Row 1, join yarn at the top left corner of the motif on the right side, then work along the side edge. Pay attention to check the number of stitches while crocheting. The sample swatch has already been completed. Continue to row 2. Make 3 beginning chains. Chain 1 as a bridge. Turn the work. Skip 1 stitch. Note that the stitch under the turning chain itself doesn't count. Work 1 double crochet. Continue crocheting according to the pattern chart. Once completed, row 2 is finished. Continue to row 3. Begin normal crocheting. Finish crocheting the chain space at the end. Next, work 1 double crochet in the turning chain. Pay attention to find the third chain from the bottom upwards. Insert the hook and crochet. When encountering this situation later, pay attention to find the correct position. Row 3 is completed. For row 4, continue working back and forth. At the beginning of row 5, make 2 chain stitches as the turning chain for half double crochet. This counts as 1/2 double crochet. Then continue crocheting according to the pattern chart. Row 6 is worked on only part of the section. At the end, you'll encounter double crochet, 3 stitches together. Here, I'll demonstrate the technique using a swatch. Refer to the chart. Insert into the corresponding stitch. Work 3 incomplete double crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the double crochet 3 stitches together. Row 6 is also completed. For the last row, work back and forth with double crochets. Simply cut the yarn at the end. This completes the explanation for the small size left side piece. The technique for the large size left side piece is similar. Everyone just follow the chart to crochet. Cut the yarn at the end for all. Please complete them. This completes the explanation for crocheting the side pieces. Finally, learn the shoulder parts on top of the motif. And back and forth on both side pieces. The last few rows are divided into 2 sections to work. Please watch my demonstration of the specific crocheting method. Here I'll continue demonstrating with the small size as an example. Attach yarn to the rightmost stitch on the top edge of the right side piece. Make 3 beginning chains. Then refer to the chart. Work 1 stitch on the side edge of each row. Crochet the corresponding number of double crochets. When reaching the motif position, follow the pattern chart. Work the corresponding number of double crochets on each motif. Pay attention to some motifs with 2. The stitch count is different from other motifs. After completing, move to the side edge of the left side piece. Continue to crochet double crochets according to the chart. For the last stitch, hook into the top of the beginning chain. The first row is now complete. Don't forget to check the number of stitches. For the following rows, continue working back and forth. The technique is similar to the side panel. Everyone follow the chart to complete row 7. Next, I'll demonstrate row 8, using a swatch. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn the work. Skip 1 stitch on the edge. Start crocheting the corresponding stitch pattern from the left stitch. Pay attention to stitch pattern changes at the edges and middle position. Here I'll continue using the small size as an example. After completing the single crochet, work 1 slip stitch into the beginning chain. The oval-shaped slip stitch on the chart doesn't need to be pulled tight. Row 8 is complete. Now work in 2 sections. First crochet the right shoulder. Then crochet the left shoulder. Here I'll use a swatch. Demonstrate the crocheting for the small size. Now work row 9 on the right shoulder. Start by carrying the yarn across. Pull a large loop. Thread the yarn ball or fabric through the loop. Pull tight. Turn the work. Refer to the chart to find the starting position of this row. Join yarn. Pay attention to the floating yarn tension behind the fabric. Don't make it too loose or too tight. Carrying the yarn across is done. For all subsequent positions requiring carrying the yarn across, follow this method, then make 1 beginning chain to start. Begin from the left chain space. Crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. At the end, make 1 double crochet, 3 stitches together. First, make 3 incomplete double crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The double crochet 3 stitches together is completed. Row 9 is done. Leave the remaining part unworked. For the next 2 rows, work back and forth according to the chart. Continue carrying the yarn across where needed. Refer to the chart for the placement of stitches on the edges. Do not crochet on the beginning chains on the neckline side, just fasten off the yarn. This completes the right shoulder section. Continue crocheting the left shoulder part. Place the crocheted part on the right side. Find the starting position of row 9 on this side according to the chart. Join the yarn. Then work back and forth on the last few rows according to the chart. Just fasten off the yarn at the end. Everyone complete it. The small size shoulder neck section has been explained. The large size shoulder neck section uses a similar crocheting method. Pay attention to the stitch placement on the edges, refer to the chart. Do not crochet incorrectly. This completes the explanation of the shoulder neck section. The back body section is also explained. Next, learn the left and right front parts. Start with the right front part. Divide it into motifs, side panels and shoulder neck sections. For the motifs section, the crochet method is similar to the back body motifs. First, work motif 1. Then, work motif 2 and join them into a panel. Complete it by referring to the chart. The motif section is now explained. Once the motifs are completed, next, work the side panels. The crocheting method is similar to the left side panel of the back body, but with fewer rows. For the final few rows of crocheting, leave space for the armhole. Cut the yarn to finish. Once the side panels are completed, next, work the shoulder parts. Crochet back and forth along the edges of the motifs and side panels. Decrease stitches at the neckline area. Pay attention to the stitch insertion by referring to the chart. Some beginning chains don't require crocheting. Work even along the edges first. Change stitch patterns in the final rows to create the shoulder slope. Carry the yarn across where needed. Cut the yarn to finish. Refer to previous demonstrations for guidance. Complete it as shown. That concludes the explanation for the right front. Now let's learn the left front. Similarly divided into 3 parts, motifs, side panels and shoulder parts. The motifs here are symmetrically arranged with those on the right front. Follow the pattern chart according to your size. For the side panels and shoulder parts, work symmetrically with the right front. Cut the yarn at the end for all sections. Complete it by referring to the chart. That completes the explanation for the left front. Now let's move on to the sleeves. Divide it into 2 parts, sleeve body and sleeve cap. Left and right side panels and top panel. The motifs consist of motif 1 and motif 2. Work motif 1 first, then work motif 2 and join them together. The method is the same as before. After completing the motifs on the edges, attach yarn and work back and forth for left and right side panels. Pay attention to stitch patterns and beginning, ending positions during the process. When the distance is long, you can break the yarn. On the next row, attach yarn at the corresponding position and crochet. Simply break the yarn at the end. After completion, on the right side front, attach yarn to the beginning chain stitches on the right side panel edge. Work back and forth for the top panel. The crochet method is similar to the back body shoulder parts. Note that after completing the beginning chain of the 5th row, turn the work, make a double crochet at the corresponding position of the beginning chain. At the end, make 2 double crochets in the beginning chain of the previous row, creating an increase effect. Continue working even for the following rows. Don't cut the yarn at the end. For the sleeve cap, continue with the yarn from the top sleeve ending. Continue working back and forth. Note that you need to carry the yarn at the beginning. Then decrease stitches on both sides later. Cut the yarn at the end as well. Refer to the chart to complete it. That's how the sleeves are done. Once the front and back bodies and sleeves are completed, next is joining together. Place the back body and left, right front pieces with their wrong sides facing each other, aligning the shoulder positions. Use stitch markers to mark the first and last stitches. If you don't have stitch markers, you can use safety pins or paper clips instead. Here we'll work on both fabric pieces. Making slip stitches from the right side on each side, using a chain stitch as a bridge to join between them. Adjust the slip stitch positions as needed. Just keep it flat and even for a neat join. Check the video demonstration below for details. Start with the shoulder connection. I'll demonstrate with a swatch here. This is how to connect the stitch positions. Match up the positions to be joined. Use stitch markers to secure a few points. Match the beginning and ending. Align the fabric pieces evenly. Try to match the textures. Keep the right side of the fabric facing out. Take the corresponding yarn. Make a knot. Start from the front side first. Join yarn on the first stitch of the right edge. You can begin connecting from either end. If it's a stitch here, just insert the hook into the stitch. If it's a beginning chain, hook into the top of the beginning chain to join yarn. Then work a chain transition. The number of chains can be adjusted according to your preference. The more chains, the wider the connection area will be. For the swatch, work 1 chain stitch. Slip stitch into the first stitch of the back fabric edge. This is for aesthetics. Place the yarn on the left side of the hook. Insert from the front. Slip stitch without tightening. You can also adjust according to your preference, the stitch technique for joining, and the direction of insertion. Continue crocheting chains. Return to the current piece. Pick a suitable position, which is after completing the chains, roughly where it can reach. More chains, then the interval can be slightly increased. In the swatch, connect with a 1-stitch interval. If the joining position isn't on the same row, choose a generally suitable position, as long as the piece remains even and flat after joining. Continue crocheting chains. Connect at the corresponding position on the other side. Pay attention to the direction of insertion. Weave the carried yarn into the stitches. Repeat this process. Choose suitable positions on the front and back pieces for joining. If you encounter a chain space, just join normally. After completing the connection at the last 2 corresponding positions, cut the yarn. Hide the beginning and ending tails on the wrong side. Complete it. That concludes the explanation of stitch position joining. After joining the shoulders, join the last row of the side panels. The joining method here is the same as for the shoulders, only this time it's joining within the same row. On the side with chains, you can pick up chain spaces with a slip stitch. On the side with continuous stitches, you can skip 1 stitch for slip stitch. Adjust the insertion position as needed. Join them flat and neatly. Complete this part. Then join the sleeves. First join the sleeve body sides. This distance is longer. You can secure with stitch markers at the beginning, middle and end. Pick corresponding stitches on the side panels to join. On the top panel sides, pick 1 stitch per row on the sides to join. The method for joining row to row sides can refer to the demonstration video below. Now let's talk about underarm connection. I'll demonstrate with a swatch here. The method for joining between rows. With the right side of the piece facing out, align the positions to be joined. If you have stitch markers, you can evenly mark with stitch markers, or use paper clips or safety pins as substitutes, or mark with yarn as well. If you can join neatly, you can also skip marking. You can join from the cast-on side, or join from the end side. First attach yarn at the rightmost row of the front piece. At the edge position. If it's the end of row, hook into the top of the turning chain or stitch. If it's a starting point like this, hook into the insertion point. Join the two pieces. You can place them alternately like this. I'll start joining from the cast-on point on the left side here. To join them together, take the yarn. Then join the yarn. Then crochet chain transition. The number of chains here, you can adjust according to your preference. The more chains you make, the wider the connection area will be. Chain 1 in the swatch. Slip stitch into the edge of the right side fabric. For aesthetics here, place the yarn on the left side of the hook. Insert from the front. I'm inserting into the placement of the first row edge single crochet here. Don't tighten the slip stitch. You can also adjust according to your preference, the stitch technique and direction of insertion for joining. Continue crocheting chains. Then go back to the left side fabric. Pick a suitable position, which is where the chain will reach after completing it. Make one slip stitch at that position. If there are many chains, the connection interval can be slightly increased. Continue crocheting chains. Connect at the corresponding position on the other side. Repeat this process. Select suitable positions for connection on both left and right fabric pieces. Check if it's flat while connecting. If it's not flat, adjust the insertion position in time. When encountering many chains like this, pick 1-2 strands from the chain to crochet. Connect with 1 stitch interval between chains. Or connect according to your preference. After completing the connection, cut the yarn. This completes the method for joining rows together. Finally, join the sleeve cap to the armholes of the front and back bodies. Align the sleeve body connection position with the side panel position of the front and back bodies. Secure well with stitch markers. The middle of the last row of the sleeve cap corresponds to the shoulder joining position. Secure at several middle points. Ensure the fabric pieces align evenly on both sides. Then follow the previous joining method. Lay flat and join them together. Complete it as shown. That concludes the joining demonstration. Next, learn the edging. Divide it into the bottom edge, front bands, collar edge and sleeve cuffs. First, learn the bottom edge. Work back and forth along the bottom of the front and back bodies. Watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with the first row. Place the fabric with the bottom facing up, right side facing you. Join yarn in the corner space at the upper right edge of the left front. Crochet method varies by size. I'll demonstrate small size using a swatch first. For small size, chain 1 to begin here. Make 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Then work corresponding single crochets along the motif and side panel edges. Refer to the chart for specific stitch count on motifs. This swatch has fewer motifs. Stitch count is random. Pay attention to skip unworked positions when joining. Repeat this process. Complete this row. Weave in yarn tails together. After completing row 1, check the number of stitches. This swatch omits some positions. Remember to complete them in actual work. Continue to crochet row 2. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn the work. Work single crochets corresponding to the first stitch all the way down this row. Row 2 completed. For small size, the following rows. Work single crochets back and forth using the same method as row 2. Don't cut the yarn at the end. Finish it. The crocheting of the bottom edge for small size is done. For other sizes, join the yarn using the small size method. Work double crochets on row 1. The crochet method is similar to the shoulder parts. Pay attention to the number of double crochets on the motif according to the chart. Row 2 work double crochets and chains back. Row 3 work single crochets corresponding into each stitch. To make the last row on the right side, cut the yarn at the end of row 3. Row 4 continue crocheting on the right side. Work back and forth for the following rows. Refer to the chart to complete it. Don't cut the yarn at the end. That's how the bottom edge crocheting is explained. Next, learn the front bands. Divide it into left front band and right front band. Work back and forth on both left and right front parts and bottom edge sides. Watch my demonstration of the specific crochet method. Here I'll demonstrate using the small size as an example. Continue with the yarn from the bottom edge ending. First, work row 1 of the right front band. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Work 1 single crochet in the last row edge stitch. Then pick up the chain space between rows on the side. Correspondingly, make 2 single crochets. Skip 1 position, then make 3 single crochets. Continue to follow the pattern chart. For small size, work single crochets on the motifs below. Other sizes have a few more rows below. Pay attention to crocheting according to the chart. The stitch count on the motifs is marked on the pattern chart. You can also adjust based on actual conditions, the number of single crochets and insertion positions, as long as the fabric stays flat and neat. In the swatch, the insertion points are random. After completion, the first row is completed. You can check the stitch count. Continue working single crochets back and forth for subsequent rows. Simply cut the yarn at the end. Finish it up. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the right front band. Join the yarn at the corresponding position in the top left corner of the left front. Then work back and forth, using a symmetrical crochet method to the right front band. Refer to the previous demonstration to complete it. Finish by cutting the yarn at the end. That concludes the explanation for the front bands. Next, we'll learn about the collar edge. Work back and forth along the neckline formed by the front and back bodies and front bands. The new stitch technique used is single crochet decrease. Watch my demonstration for the specific crocheting method. I'll demonstrate using a swatch, skipping some positions. Please note that the actual project takes precedence. Above the right front band, join the yarn at the last stitch of the final row. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Then work single crochets along the front band edge. Refer to the pattern chart for the exact stitch count. Next, work single crochets along the shoulder side edge. Work into each and every skipped stitch position correspondingly. Carry the yarn across and weave it in together. Work along the side edges according to the chart. You can adjust the insertion points based on actual conditions. Just make sure the final stitch count matches the chart. In this swatch, the insertion points are random. Work 1 stitch at the joining position. Continue working the row by following the pattern chart. When finished, complete the row at the front band. Row 1 is now complete. You can check the number of stitches for the next row too. Turn and work corresponding single crochets. Everyone complete it. Now I'll demonstrate row 3 using a swatch. Some positions are omitted. Make one beginning chain to start. Turn the work. Skip one stitch. Start working single crochets from the second stitch. When 2 stitches remain at the end, work 1 single crochet decrease. First make 2 incomplete single crochets. Insert. Draw the yarn through. First stitch completed. Continue to insert into adjacent stitch. Draw the yarn through. Second stitch completed. Finally yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The single crochet decrease is done. Row 3 completed. Continue working back and forth according to the chart. Pay attention to decreases at beginning and ending on some rows. Leave unworked the beginning chain on decrease rows. Refer to previous demonstration. Follow the pattern to complete it. Cut the yarn and weave in ends after last row. That concludes the collar edge crocheting. Finally learn about cuffs. Crochet in rounds on the other side of sleeve body. Round 1 at sleeve body joining position. Pick up left side edge and attach yarn. Make 1 chain stitch. Work single crochets according to the chart. Join with a slip stitch to finish. For subsequent rounds, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise following the chart. Technique similar to motif 2 round 2. Each round begins with a beginning chain, end by slip stitching into the first stitch. Some rounds require decreases. Refer to the chart for specific decrease positions. Cut the yarn and weave in ends. Complete this section. That concludes the sleeve edge explanation. Edging explanation is complete. Finally learn about buttons. Total of 5 pairs. Top pair positioned below collar edge. Bottom pair positioned above bottom edge. Evenly distributed in the middle. Roughly corresponding to the motif seam. Each button pair consists of 2 parts. When laid flat, the right side part requires purl buttons to be attached. Crochet the shrimp stitch for individual parts first. Note that purl buttons are attached to the short shrimp. The part with buttonholes is the long shrimp stitch. Crochet both parts separately, then sew together for assembly. Refer to the chart for specific shrimp stitch length. After finishing, remember to leave about 50 cm yarn tail for sewing. Refer to the demonstration for the shrimp stitch technique here. Below demonstrates the crocheting method of shrimp stitch. Chain cast on. Chain 2. Insert the hook into the back loop of the first chain. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through. Yarn over again, pull through both loops. Keep the hook steady. Rotate the fabric clockwise underneath. Then, pick up 2 strands with the hook. Yarn over. Pull through. Yarn over again, pull through all loops on the hook. Continue rotating the fabric clockwise. Pick up 2 strands with the hook. Yarn over. Work a single crochet. Continue rotating the fabric clockwise downward. Pick up the same 2 vertical strands, and work a single crochet. Repeat this method continuously afterward. Rotate the fabric clockwise. Then pick up the 2 vertical strands on the upper left, and work a single crochet. When reaching the desired length, secure with 1 chain stitch. Leave yarn tails. Cut the yarn. If sewing is needed, leave long yarn tails. This is the crocheting technique of shrimp stitch. After the shrimp stitch is crocheted, proceed with sewing and assembly. Fold the short shrimp braid in half and sew the middle. And secure a purl button at one end. Leave buttonholes on the long shrimp braid. Then sew it to the appropriate position, on the right and left front. Note that a small section of the front band edges should be left unsewn. The exact position can also be determined based on the appearance after buttoning. When sewing at the neckline, make sure the buttons correspond to the bottom curved line of the collar edge. The bottom sections are all straight lines. For specific assembly and sewing methods, please refer to the video demonstration below. First, sew the short shrimp braid. Fold it in half. Thread the yarn tail through the needle. Pick up the edge and whip stitch through 1 strand. After completion, sew purls onto the tip. Once securely fixed, leave the remaining yarn tails for now. Sew the long shrimp braid using the same method. Remember to leave a buttonhole at the end. Button it up to check the fit. Now fasten all the buttons. Place them on the left front and right front pieces. Sew the short shrimp braid with buttons onto the left front edge. At the neckline picking up stitches, you can adjust the position according to your preference. Now I'll demonstrate the sewing using a swatch. Thread the yarn tail into the needle. Sew along the edge of the shrimp braid and the fabric. Try not to show any sewing trace on the surface. After the last stitch is secured, tie a knot with the yarn tail. Weave in the tail along the texture of the fabric. Finally, trim off any excess yarn tails. This completes the sewing of the shrimp braid. Sew the long shrimp braid onto the corresponding position of the right front piece. Complete the sewing. This completes the explanation of the buttons. Up to this point, the entire garment has been fully explained. If you still have unclear parts during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.